home plate now. And Mackie Mason, our studio producer, will take a pregame break and come back and get this one underway. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Scott Miller, Stephen Williams back at the ballpark, and the Cougars have taken the field, and big Mike McGinnity will get the start here, Stephen, in game 2 today.
Yeah, Mike McGinnity, a senior right-hander, 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Pembroke Pines, Florida, and he has been the number 1 for this team for about a year and a half until last weekend. He got bumped from the Friday night game against Lander. I believe it was actually a Saturday game against Lander, and then moved to the number 2 spot, but he's coming into this one with a 4.79 ERA, although he is undefeated on the season, 4-0. 7 starts, this will be his 8th. 41 and a third innings pitched, 22 earned runs, 27 strikeouts.
Cougars set up defensively exactly the same way as the first game, with the exception of Dustin Avert being behind the plates. We'll give you that in just a moment. Andrew Broadbeck, the second baseman, will lead it off. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI in the opening game, and the first pitch of game 2 is in there for a called strike at 4:29 this afternoon. The 0-1 breaking ball catches the outside corner. 0-2. Well, I have succumbed to the cold weather and the wind chill and have lowered the window here, but I may have to rethink it. I can't. It's very difficult to see.
You beat me to it.
The 0-2 is fouled away.
I was getting ready to point out that you have disheveled the hoodie.
That wind is blowing right in our face at the moment, but it has been swirling all day. But at some point here, I don't think Windex is going to help this window anymore, so I may have to slide it back up.
This window has been around for a while.
Let's just say that these windows will do nicely in the renovation. It's time to renovate, and that's what we're going to do this summer. Cannot wait for that to happen. The 0-2 pitch misses outside. 1-2.
I think you would term these frosty.
Yes. Frosted tip bulbs, okay, but you don't want your windows to be frosty.
It's like when you get to Christmas time and they have that spray-on snow that you can put on windows. It's almost like looking through that.
The 1-2 is looped into the outfield, and Matt Nettles has a beat on it. He has it in left center field for the first out of the game. Matt Nettles is in left, Brendan Collins in center, Jackson Oliver, the right fielder, Tim Massengale at third, Blake Edwards, the shortstop, Carson Bowers, the second baseman, Chris Daniel over at first, and as we said, Dustin Avert behind the plate in this game, and Mike McGinnity on the mound facing Colin McMillan, the designated hitter, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI in the opening game. First pitch misses, ball 1. The story of the game 1 was Jake Ezel settling down. The pitch is downstairs and closing out strong, and the CSU offense waking up about the time that he settled into his groove.
Yeah, it really was a tale of two halves, although it wasn't quite half a game, but it felt like 2 parts to that. A part where Flagler dominated as it's rolled towards first.
And into right field for a base hit just out of the reach of first baseman Chris Daniel.
But there was the portion of the game where Flagler was clearly in front and in control of things with their ace on the mound, and he was rolling right along. And then everything just kind of flipped when Jake got things going. It got the offense back to the plate quicker and quicker and quicker, and they rolled.
Here's Lorenzo Butler, the center fielder. He was 0 for 5 in the opening game. So this now is the pivotal game of this series right here. Strike on the outside corner.
Hey, if you're Greg Appleton in Columbus State, you can win this one. You win the series against a top 10 opponent, against a team that's near the top of your conference. Tomorrow becomes gravy. Doesn't mean you want it any less, but tomorrow is just a bonus.
The pitch strike on the outside corner would give you an opportunity tomorrow to do something that you thought might be a tall order coming into this weekend, and that's sweep the 8th-ranked team in the country,
who had just 4 losses coming into the entire weekend.
But if the Saints are able to win this game, then we're back even again. There's a pitch fouled away over the first base side and out of play.
And then they walk away from the field today feeling better about things because the most recent taste in their mouth is victory.
And that's why this doubleheader deal is such a weird dynamics. It can go a lot of different ways. Again, the wind has been swirling all day. Right now it is just blistering straight in. Fouled back to the screen, just got a piece of it.
With Mike McGinnity, you know what you're going to get. It's a guy who's going to be reliable. He's going to be around the strike zone. When he's good, you're putting him in play a lot because he's throwing a lot of strikes. He's got to have a reliable defense playing behind him. And that didn't last long for you.
The window is back up before the first half inning ends. I just couldn't do it. The 0-2, he reached for it and popped it up on the infield. And right behind the second base bag, Blake Edwards, the shortstop, will make the catch.
And that's what you'll see a lot from Mike. He's going to mix speeds, he's going to mix locations, and you'll get some weird swings sometimes because he's going to be around the zone. You're going to have to flail out at the last minute.
Here's Nick Kranick, the right fielder for the Saints. He was 0 for 3 with a walk and a couple of strikeouts in the opening game. Throw to first, back in there.
And it was fun to watch Mike throw last year. You know, we just looked at it and you knew what you were getting when he walked out to the mound. He was going to give you 6 or 7 innings, give up a couple of runs, but you knew you weren't going to mess around and he was going to take care of the business.
Close on that throw to first. You're right, that's a good way to describe it. It was fun watching him. Kranick still awaits first pitch to him, and he swings and fouls it at the plate, 0-1.
And just because he's not pitching in game number 1 doesn't mean he's still not the number 1 for this team. It was just, 2 years ago that Brody Liebrand pitched out of the number 2 spot despite being the so-called number 1 starter.
And sometimes it's just a different, it's a different makeup. Sometimes it just depends on where some guys get slotted in, throw to first, he's back standing, and they're just a little more comfortable to wherever they're slotted in, 1, 2, or 3. Sometimes I've seen coaches have their, if it's a close competition between their top 3, they might go with a guy that's maybe got a little tougher demeanor in game 3. There's a bouncing ball back toward the bag and straight through past the glove of shortstop Blake Edwards into center field. It took a bad last hop on him and in the center and first and third.
That was a ball where the runner moving put him in the right position, but a really tough play for him to make.
It really can't. The last hop came up and handcuffed him. It drifted. It sliced back in toward him, and it picked up speed off of that overspin and kicked on into center. But McMillan goes to third, and Kranick at first. Todd Giuliano, the third baseman. Giuliano 0 for 3 in the opening game. Strike on the outside corner. Some coaches would like to have, if the top 3 guys are pretty much the same, or if 2 and 3 are pretty much the same, they might want that guy that's a little more of a bulldog in game 3. So there are a lot of different ways you can play it.
Sometimes your pitcher likes seeing the opponent's offense one time through also.
The 0-1 just misses.
Kind of gives him a free scouting report.
Ball and a strike. Runners on the corners. And there's a strike on the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes.
Mike pounding the strike zone as you'd expect, 14-4 strikes to balls. That's a good ratio for him. That's where he needs to live.
He takes the long look in. Ahead in the count, 1-2. 1-2 pitch is fouled away over the first base side.
He doesn't have the big electric fastball that Jake Ezel does, so when he gets behind the count, he can't just reach back and throw it by guys. He's going to win ball games by being ahead in the count and kind of nibbling around the zone.
And relying on the guys behind him. The 1-2 pitch. Tried to get him to chase a fastball that was a little up and out of the zone. Laid off of it, 2-2. But Ezel settled down. Great job. And then Caden Ferguson came in to finish it up. There's a called strike 3 on the outside corner, and Giuliano doesn't like it. The Saints did not like the home plate umpire in the first game, and they're not off to a great relationship with this guy in the second game. But got the outside corner in the call, and nothing doing for the Saints as McGinnity gets out of the inning, stranding 2 with a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the first inning. It is Flagler nothing, and the Cougars just now coming into bat. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Scott and Steven back at the ballpark, bottom of the first inning. Flagler failed to score, and the Cougars with their first crack at it in game 2. Brendan Collins, Jackson Oliver, and Mike McClellan due up for CSU. Brendan 1 for 4 in the opening game. Had a sacrifice bunt in that game as well. Just having a fantastic season. Perfect leadoff man. The pitch is in there for a called strike.
They're going up against Mike O'Reilly, a 6-foot, 185-pound junior right-hander out of Wading River, New York.
Wading River?
Wading River.
The 0-1. In on his hands, fouled it back this way and over our heads.
For the year, O'Reilly is 4-2, but his ERA is 2.77, so he's pitched better than a 4-2 record looks like. This is his 8th start of the year, 15 earned runs and 48 2/3 innings pitched, and a strikeout an inning, 48 Ks.
0-2, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
I would venture to say this is the most that Brendan Collins has struck out in one day in his 2 years in a Cougar uniform. That's 4 for him already.
So that's the way the Cougar half of the first begins. Here's Jackson Oliver, 1 for 3 in the first game. First pitch swinging. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Flagler came into today with a team ERA of 2.50. The 0-1 misses downstairs.
O'Reilly gives you a different look than Danny Brown did. Brown was a little herky-jerky with his motion, kind of came from the 3/4 slot. O'Reilly much more over the top, more traditional about things.
The 1-1 is bounced foul down the first base side. 1-2. Is that our guy back again, or is that a bad bus cranking up? A bus that needs some serious loving.
That doesn't sound like the mower to me.
The 1-2 pitch on the way. Driven into center field, slicing away from the center fielder, but Butler will run it down. Ended up in shallow left center with the wind blowing that way at the time. And 2 down. There's Mike McClellan, who had a tough opening game, 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts.
And we come to the ballpark to watch Mike hit.
Yes.
We need to get our money's worth.
And usually it's quite a show, so he's due here in this game. The pitch is high. 4-1.
I'm a big fan of Mike and his demeanor and the way he carries himself. He's so carefree, and it's fun to talk to him after ball games.
The 1-0 is driven to center field, but he got under it. And the center fielder, Butler, is going to slide over into the gap. Had that big swing, but he just got under it a little bit. And 3 up and 3 down for the Cougars here in the first. We played 1 in game number 2, and nothing game. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Top of the second, game number 2, nothing ball game. Cougars and the Saints of Flagler. And it will be Nick Oberg, Sean Hendon, and Skylar Fox due up for the Saints here. Against Mike McGinnity. Oberg in the first game was 0 for 4. First pitch from Mike is downstairs. 4-1. Well, we established in game 1 today that the 1-0 pitch, strike on the outside corner, that in tonight's game against Kentucky and Notre Dame, Stephen will be a big Irish fan.
It goes with the red hair, right?
Yeah, there you go. The 1-1 breaking ball was in there for a called strike. 1-2. Did you grow up in Louisville?
Yes.
There's a bouncer right back to the mound. McGinnity fields it on one hop and throws to first to get him.
Born in Nashville, only there for 5 years, Louisville the rest of the way.
So I could see where it'd be difficult to be a Kentucky fan when you're right there in Louisville.
They don't make it easy.
No, I'm sure. Sean Hendon, the left fielder, 1 for 3 with a run scored and a walk, a strikeout in game number 1. There's a strike on the inside corner. I really thought, shows you how much I know, I really thought that West Virginia might give them a little struggle in the Sweet 16 game. The ball misses outside.
Depends on what your definition of a little struggle is.
Good grief. They had a double-digit lead before the last note of the national anthem died away. There's a drive down the right field line. It's going to drop in there for a base hit, get down into the corner. Jackson Oliver gets it back in. Little one-out double off the bat of Sean Hendon.
And just a good piece of hitting. Fastball up, out over the middle of the plate. He went right with it.
And Skylar Fox, the first baseman. 1 for 4 with a run scored. Couple of strikeouts in game number 1 today. Back out here tomorrow, 1 o'clock, for the third and final game of this 3-game set. Right off the end of the bat, fouled it over into their dugouts.
You wanna laugh? A little sympathy laugh?
Sure.
Our good buddies Scott McLeod and Al Weston up there at Georgia College. Home doubleheader today with Barry from Florida.
Right.
At 1 and 4 o'clock. Well, their 4 o'clock game hasn't started because their 1 o'clock game hasn't ended.
Oh. Breaking ball is lifted high and foul down the third base line and out of play.
How about top of the 9th inning? It's 12-11.
Could be worse, right?
There's not many ways.
No. I mean, it could be worse for us. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for us, yes. I was going to say, for them, there's not many ways.
So there's a silver lining. I appreciate you digging that out. Yeah, we ended up, 2 hour and 54-minute game or something like that.
I think they have finally finished.
Fastball misses outside. 1-2. Flagler threatening here in the top of the second. Runner at second. And 1 down. Check of the runner. Mike's pitch to the plate. Fouled away over the first base side. Kudos to the fans who are out here today. It has been a tough day to sit outside for a couple of baseball games. And we really have a good crowd. Pitch is fly ball into center field. Brendan Collins has a bead on it. He's under it. He's got it. Runner will tag and come about a quarter of the way down and go back. 2 down.
And the thing that gets me is about half the crowd seems comfortable in their shorts.
Yeah. They're better than I am if they're comfortable in their shorts out there today. Here's the catcher, Jay Molinaro. Did not play in the opening game. And he's a 182 hitter on the season. Again, he checks the runner, and he just steered one up the middle for a base hit. Rounding the bag at third, there'll be a play at the plate. The throw is off to the first base side, and the runner, Hendon, scores standing up. And the 182 hitter puts the Saints on top 1-0.
Just the 4th run he's driven in all season, just his 7th hit of the year. That's usually how it goes, right?
Yep. He didn't waste any time. He jumped on the first pitch. So the Saints, as they did in the opening game, jump out on top. And back to the top of the order, and Andrew Broadbeck. Fly to left in the first inning. Way back in the first inning. Off speed is in there for a strike as we play in the second. He's on a pace for 9 at-bats here in this game.
That would be quite impressive, but I prefer that not to be the case.
And he rips one. Great diving catch by first baseman Chris Daniel. He just took extra bases away from Broadbeck. Put a blue star by that one. Great diving catch back toward the second base bag. And we have Played 1.5 here at Ragsdale Field. The Flagler Saints pick up a run in the second, leave a man on. We go to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Flagler. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. And we head to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Flagler. Boy, what a play by Chris Daniel to end the top of this inning.
Yeah, very little time for him to react. That ball yanked to his right, and all he didn't take a step, just dove straight to his right and made the snag.
And starting off the bottom of the second, Dustin Averett lines one to the left fielder who goes down on his knees, and left center Sean Hendon to make the catch.
That was a weird shade they had Dustin Averett played, because the center fielder was in the left center field gap, or turned that way, and the left fielder was in the left center field gap. I mean, it would have been fun to watch Dustin run had he gotten one down the left field line, because it would have taken a huge effort for Hendon to get anywhere near it.
If they had him shaded in a more normal position, that would have been a base hit. And the pitch is downstairs to Chris Daniel. Chris 2 for 5, a 2-run scored in the opening game, and that great play in the top of this inning, swing and a foul back into the catcher Molinaro's glove. And the pitch, low it away.
I gave you the Georgia College score, a couple other ones for you. It's not been a good day for top 10 PBC teams. Armstrong goes down this morning as well. North Georgia got him 9-6.
So that series even at a game apiece. Lifted into shallow center field, and a long run, and it's going to drop in front of Butler, the center fielder. He just kept coming, and that ball just kept slicing away from him, and it dropped in front of him.
Yeah, and I think the wind really got it too, and it's going to turn into a base hit for Chris Daniel, but that ball got in the air, and I think it was in routine center field, and it ended up in shallow left center.
As you look at the flags at the moment that was happening, it's blowing from right to left and just kept pushing it away from him. Chris will take that. Here's Matt Nettles, the left fielder. Matt was 2 for 3, a couple of runs scored in the opening game. Takes the first pitch, ball 1. The end of spring break here at CSU. The 1-0 swing and a miss. 1-1. My morning show co-host and friend Wes Carroll and his family are camping out up at Pine Mountain since Thursday night. Wes joined them on Friday. The pitch is high, so of course they pick a couple of nights where it's in the 30s. They had a picture of a nice big roaring fire they had up there, though. So 2-1 is ripped down toward the right field corner. Going to drop in there for a base hit. And headed into second and sliding in there is Matt Nettles. Chris Daniel motors in the third, and the Cougars second and third, and one down.
How big would it be, too, for your psyche and really to damage the psyche of Flagler for them to get back in front and you answer right back and get potentially one, if not two or more?
I think it would be really huge at this point where we stand in this series. All right, here is Carson Bowers, the second baseman.
He was okay earlier.
Yeah, he was okay. 4 for 4, 3 runs scored, 2 driven in. And the first pitch to him is in there for a strike. His at bat in the 5th inning with the Cougars trailing 3-1. He had a sun-aided triple that fell to the track in right field, and that really got the offense going. It was lights out after that. Swing and a miss.
It's a big at bat right here, though, because you can't go down on strikes. You got to find a way to at least get Daniel in from third.
Just put the ball in play somewhere. If you hit it right at somebody, can't get them in, so be it, but put it in play. He's in the hole now, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch, fought it off and fouled it away. Count stays 0-2. Carson digs back in there from the right side. O'Reilly gets the sign, the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He went up the ladder on him high and tied up around the bill of the cap and struck him out.
Yeah, that was the one outcome you really could not afford. And he just threw a hard fastball up and in, and Bowers went right with him.
Second strikeout for O'Reilly, and a big one. And that will bring up the shortstop, Blake Edwards. 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 3 driven in the opening game. The bottom of the Cougar lineup in the opening game, fantastic. The pitch is low and in the dirt. Good stop by Molinaro.
And now it comes to the point where you're asked to pick a teammate up. One guy couldn't get it done. That's why you got another one out there to try to take care of it for you.
See if Blake can get a big 2-out hit to maybe get a couple of runs home. The 1-0 pitch in on his hands, pulled over toward the Cougar dugout. 1-1. Looks down to Patrick Collins, the third base coach, who flashes the 2-run single sign.
I'm glad you got it too.
Yep.
I got it up here.
Let's see if Blake picked it up. The 1-1 pitch almost pulled it foul, though. Way out in front of that one. 1-2. Number 8 hitter Blake Edwards back in the box. Stands up in front of the box, slightly open stance. The 1-2 pitch, trying to get him to chase one up above the bill of the cap. Laid off, 2-2.
So now the rest of the Cougar hitters need to make a mental note. That's twice in strikeout type situations where he's gone upstairs with it, trying to get you to chase out of the zone.
It's going up and in.
Log that in the memory bank for your at-bats.
The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, just missed the outside corner. He went up and in and down and away.
Yeah, that's a good sequence right there. I like what O'Reilly's doing. He goes, you're changing eye levels, and it makes it tough for the hitter to really get in any kind of groove if you keep changing where he's got to look to see the baseball.
Runs the count full on Blake now. Payoff pitch on the way to the plate. In on his hands and popped him up. Foul territory. Will it get out of play? It will. Out of our line of sight. Down past the dugout, but just over the restraining fence.
And then you see the little trickle of the ball rolling between the concession stand and the dugout. That was a welcome sight.
There aren't many spots here that are out of the line of sight from up here, unlike Landers ballpark, which is a beautiful ballpark, but you cannot see in the corners from the press box, from the either side of the press box. The 3-2 is fouled away. I think if you're maybe sitting in the middle of the press box, but where they have radio or broadcast set up on either side, gets down into the corner and you're looking for the television monitor. And oh, wait a minute.
Oh, they didn't
we
give you
don't
one?
have one.
I need to give you one for us.
3-2 on the way to the plate again. Fly ball down the left field line. Wind pushing it in foul territory, and it will drop just out of the reach of the shortstop, third baseman, and left fielder in foul territory. The wind helped us out a little bit there.
Yeah, and there's so much room to play with over there because if you've never been here, the bullpens down the lines, they open up and they add an extra, what do you think, 20, 30 feet or so of foul territory that's all completely in play. You can run in there and make the play. And that ball was headed right into that area.
So Blake has really battled here. He keeps fouling off pitch after pitch. Pretty soon you hope that that tips to the batter's advantage. The payoff pitch again. There's a soft little liner into right field that's going to drop in for a base hit. One run will score. Here's the second run. He is safe without a throw, and it did indeed tip to the advantage of Blake Edwards. A two-run single just out of the reach of Andrew Broadbeck, and the Cougars are on top 2-1.
Well, it took him a while, but he did get the sign.
That's it.
So, you know, that's all that we can ask is as long as you get the sign and you execute, it's good.
Not a bad pitch by O'Reilly, but Blake kept fouling off pitch after pitch, and after a while, that goes advantage to the batter, and that's what happened then.
That was the 9th pitch that he hit.
Great at bat.
And I'm with you. O'Reilly threw a good pitch. That was an inside corner fastball that Blake just muscled up.
Blake now has 5 RBIs on the day. Pitch inside and just hit the knob of the bat as Massengale was trying to get out of the way. Tough luck there.
Blake only had 14 coming into the day.
Wow. So he's got 5 today as we play in the second inning of game 2.
Blake needs just one more to make it 6 different Cougar hitters with 20 driven in this year.
The 0-1 in there called strike. Well, Blake is obviously a prime-time player. He was just waiting to get the first game on the radio to really break out.
Wanted to make sure that he got the most bang for his buck.
That's it. That's it.
And that must mean we bring a television crew in here. Look out.
Look out. The 0-2 pitch fouled away. First base side.
You know who feels so much better now is Carson Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rally didn't die on his strikeout. His buddy, his up-the-middle partner right now, came through for him behind it. Now everybody forgets that Carson struck out.
And that's what happens when you have a productive batting order from top to bottom. Throw over the first, he's back safely. And that's what this club has.
You know, had Blake made an out there, you'd look back and go, man, that really was the at-bat that kind of hurt us. Now it's like, okay, no big deal. No worries.
Next man up. Fouled back to the screen. Again, just got a piece of it. So Tim, like Blake, is fighting up there to stay alive.
Tim's made big improvements from last year. Last year he was a home run or a strikeout kind of hitter. And he's really done a better job this year making more contact. And Greg Appleton's been very complimentary of Tim and the work he's done in the offseason.
0-2, loop to right again, but this time the right fielder Kranick, who had him played shallow, will come in and make the catch for out number 3. But the Cougars put 2 runs on the board, a big 2-out, 2-run single off the bat of Blake Edwards. And we've played 2 innings in game number 2 of the doubleheader today, and CSU leading Flagler now 2-1. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Top of the third here at Ragsdale Field, and 2-1 Columbus State on top in the nightcap of the doubleheader. Colin McMillan singled his first time up. Takes the first pitch from Mike McGinnity outside for ball one.
And we always talk about it, but your team gives you the lead. You, as a pitcher, your job, go back out there, get 3 quick outs, get them right back to the plate.
Have a shutdown inning. The 1-0 is on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1. Next pitch pulled foul down the first base side. 1-2. Flagler ranked 8th in the country. They were in 3rd place in the Peach Belt coming into the weekend play. 1-2 is looped into left field. Nettles coming hard toward the line. Won't be able to get there. Plays it on one hop. He gets it back in a hurry. The throw is wide, and the runner is going to end up at second, make the turn there, and hold on there. With a good throw, Matt hustled, and he would have had the runner back at first because the McMillan had stopped. He would have forced him to go back to first, but the throw went wide, and so the errant throw allows him to get down to second.
And it's tough because you're trying to hurry and rush that throw to get it there to the bag in time, but the throw just completely got away, and CSU wasn't in position to keep it from becoming an issue.
So a single and an E7. Made a good play to get there and get the ball on one hop. We've talked about it before. There's a little bunt out between the plate and the mound. One play, McGinnity throws to first and gets him there, and the sacrifice is accomplished. But when that left fielder is playing shaded over toward the gap, he's got a long way to go to get to the line when those balls just drop right into fair territory there.
Especially the way the wind's going right now, too. Because you think you're getting there, and you think you're getting there, and it just keeps falling further and further and further away from you.
Just keeps pushing it away. So runner at third, and just one down, and the pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Dustin to keep it in front of him. Nick Kranick singled his first time up. Tim Massengale is even with the bag at the moment. Chris Daniel also even with the bag at first. McGinnity checks the runner and swung on, fouling it at the plate. And the count is even at 1-1. 2-1 Cougars in the top of the third in game number 2. Just one game past the halfway mark now in conference play. The 1-1 pitch misses outside. 2-1. We talked about it in the first game. The conference tournament will be played here in Columbus. Single elimination, 2-day tournament, Saturday and Sunday, top 8 teams at Golden Park and here at Ragsdale Field. 2-1 is a strike on the outside corner, 2-2.
They just went ahead and set all the game times for that. So it'll be 11 and 3 o'clock will be quarterfinals here and at Golden Park. 7 o'clock on Saturday will be semis at here and Golden Park, and then a championship on Sunday at 1.
Pitch is fouled back to the screen. Still 2-2.
And Columbus State, regardless of seeding, assuming they're in the tournament, regardless of what the seeding may be, they will play all of their games on this field, and the championship on Sunday is on this field regardless of who's in it.
I do like the fact that the championship game is a standalone game on Sunday. We haven't done that in the past. There's a base hit in the right field as he reached out and just steered one between Daniel and Bowers in the right field to tie the game.
Yeah, just a good piece of hitting. Reached out and poked it right through the hole. So a good answer for Flagler, who we're talking about their psyche of being up in game 1, losing that one, jumping on the board first here, and Columbus State coming back. Good answer from them there to tie the game back up.
So Todd Giuliano, the third baseman, struck out swinging in the first inning. The NCAA on that selection Sunday, breaking ball misses, would like to be able to wrap things up a little sooner than they were able to do that last year.
Now, last year, didn't they have some weather they were battling still on that Sunday over there in Aiken?
Mm-hmm. Went deep into the night. The 1-0 pitch misses, 2-0.
Of course, the Cougars were there about as quick. It took. We were there for about as long as it took us to get there.
Yep. Runner goes, big jump, pops him up, foul territory behind the plate. Dustin Averett under it, and he's got it for the second out. He almost dropped his mask too closely to him. Worked out okay. And here's Nick Oberg, the shortstop. Yeah, the semifinals and finals were played. That's the way the single elimination Peach Belt tournaments in the past have been formatted. But to avoid long weather delays and a late night that pushes back the NCAA regional announcement, we want them to go just to the single game on Sunday, and that's the way it should be. It's still weird anyway to have a single elimination baseball tournament. There's a sharply hit ball past third baseman Massengale into left field. Headed toward the shortstop hole, and Tim tried to scoop it, and it shot past him.
It's already 7 hits now in the first 3 innings for Flagler.
Been a quiet 7 hits, but 7 nonetheless. And Kranick stopped down at second. Sean Hendon doubled and scored in the second inning.
His double is the only extra base hit out of those 7. Other 6 all singles.
Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Strike 1.
And they haven't really stung very many of them. Most of them have been dribblers that got through. You had the blooper that fell into left field. Hendon hit his hard, but the rest of them have all kind of been soft singles.
The 0-1 checked his swing, but it was a called strike on the outside corner. So in order to format a single elimination tournament like that, they had to have a place where you had 2 ballparks available on Saturday. Check of the runner at second. 0-2 waste pitch, high and away, 1-2.
We went down on Wednesday, I believe, of this week. Went down to Golden Park, took a crew down there. It was actually the first time I'd ever been inside of the ballpark. I'd been all over that complex down there, but never actually inside Golden Park. Field is in pristine condition right now.
The 1-2 swung on, just got a piece of it, had him out on his front foot, but he fought it off to stay alive.
Now, some of the surroundings, the press box, the things in the area, a little bit older, but those guys keep that field. The Columbus Parks and Rec group, they do a nice job with the field work.
They really do. Of course, Golden Park hosted the Peach Belt baseball tournament before. Pitch misses outside, and it's 2-2 back when it was a double elimination tournament. But Cougars ended up playing a game here at Ragsdale on the opening day in one of those years because of a long rain delay, weather problem to try to get back on track. They had a couple of games going on at one time, not scheduled that way. 2-2 as there's a bouncing ball in the left field for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third, and the bases will be loaded as Netto's got the ball back in a hurry.
Right now, it's not an issue of getting to 2 strikes for Mike McGinnity. It's putting the hitters away and getting guys to 2 strikes, but they're coming up with 2 strike hits.
So he tries to do some damage control. If he can get out of this mess of an inning with just the 1 run scored, that'll be a major lift. Skylar Fox flied to center his first time up. Mike will work from the full windup, and there's a sharply hit ball right at the second baseman, Bowers. He will flip to Blake Edwards at second for the force, and a good job indeed of damage control as the Saints pick up a run, but they leave the bases loaded. They do tie the game, though, as we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's Flagler 2, Columbus State 2 on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540.
If you have family.
Two-two ball game as we head to the bottom of the third in the nightcap of the doubleheader. Flagler and Columbus State. Cougars took the opening game 9-4, and we have some clouds that have rolled in over Ragsdale Field now.
And thus the CSU bullpen's empty.
That's right.
The tan crew.
The tan crew it's no longer warmer out in the sun because the clouds have taken care of covering up the sun, and the pitch is high for ball one. Brendan Collins, strikeout victim, swinging in the first inning, and he takes a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 1-1. So it just, with that wind still blowing and the sun behind the clouds now, makes it feel even colder for the good fans out here today. The 1-1 is downstairs, 2-1.
And Molinaro held that one an extra second there. It's not something the home plate umpire will like seeing.
2 balls and a strike. Of course, some in the Flagler dugout said he probably couldn't see it anyway. The 2-1 pitch is high. 3. I'm just guessing.
You're just summarizing.
I'm just
right?
guessing. I'm not sure that's exactly what they'd be saying. 3-1. The 3-1 pitch popped him up foul, out of play. Good job by Brendan there just to fight that off. It was low and away, too close to take. He couldn't do anything with it, so he just poked it foul. 3-2. Jackson Oliver waits on deck. Payoff pitch on the way. Ripped foul, though, way out in front of it. Ripped it down into the empty bullpen. It's actually supposed to be a little colder tonight than it was last night, but the high tomorrow is supposed to be warmer in the 60s. 3-2 downstairs, ball 4, so a fast man on to start things here in the third.
And they need Brendan to get going because he's the guy that sets the table for this group. Came into the day with 45 runs on the year, so they need him to get rolling a little bit at the top.
19 for 19 in the stolen base department, so look for him to be off and running at some point in this at-bat, either a straight steal or a hit and run with Jackson Oliver at the plate. Fly to center his first time up. Throw over to first, back safely. Jackson wearing a shin guard on his right leg. Runner leaning a little bit, and there he goes. Pitches downstairs. The throw is a one-hopper that hits Brendan. He's in there safely with his 20th stolen base in as many tries.
But Brendan, unfortunate that the ball actually hit him, because otherwise that ball's into center field, and there's a chance he's standing on third.
It tailed behind him and hit his legs as he was already sliding headfirst into the bag. You could tell from up here that he was going to be off and running on that pitch, and he was. The 1-0 to Jackson, who shows bunt and takes it outside, 2-0. Third baseman Giuliano is a step back of the grass at third. Now he's right on the cutout. Shortstop trying to hold Brendan close at bag, and he drag bunts it down the first base line, and he reaches out and just tags him. The pitcher O'Reilly does. Sacrifice accomplished, but he was close to getting, as the first baseman I should say, he was close to getting that ball past him and making the play with everybody safe.
Yeah, it was a situation where if he takes just a little bit off of it, he has a chance to make the first baseman come get it a little more. There's a chance he's going to beat that out. But as it is, you get the sacrifice and you set up your best RBI man with only one out and a man on third.
So Mike McClellan with a chance to break the tie here, and the breaking ball misses. Low and away, 1-0. I really enjoy watching guys who can execute that drag bunt to perfection.
You don't watch very many left-handers do it.
Right. The 1-0 is in there. 1-1. My mother's favorite player, as she was a young girl and turning into a young lady, was Mickey Mantle, and boy, could he execute that drag bunt. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Mike's been fooled by that breaking ball all day long, whether it was Brown or O'Reilly. That breaking ball has given him fits.
And that was back when the young Mickey Mantle could run, before he had all the knee problems. The 1-2 is high, 2-2. Collins gets his lead at third. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out, and Mike's tough day continues. Big strikeout there.
That's back-to-back innings now that O'Reilly has had a runner on third and one out, and has been able to reach back and throw a fastball by a Columbus State hitter.
He's got 3 strikeouts total. Here's Dustin Averett. Well, last inning, Cougars were able to get a big 2-out hit to get a couple of runs in. Took the lead at the time. Flagler answered in the top of this inning with a run, and let's see if Dustin can. He hit the ball right on the nose his first time up, lined out to left field. The pitch from O'Reilly, swing and a miss.
Dustin not playing near as much this year as he did last year, but he's working on a 9-game hitting streak. So he had been swinging the bat well.
The 0-1 swing and a miss. He was nowhere near that one. He would have needed a boat paddle to get that one. That was high and away. So he's put himself in a hole now at 0-2. The 0-2 pitch held up in the dirt. Good stop by Molinaro to keep the ball in front of him. My brother David, listening to the game, just sent me a text. How do you walk 15 batters in an 11-inning game and still win 6-5? Georgia just did that in South Carolina.
Wow.
Very carefully, I would say, David, is how you do that. And probably you don't do it twice. My goodness. It's a bizarre stat. The 1-2 breaking ball lifted into right center field. Butler going back, and that ball just kept carrying, but he ran it down on the track, slammed into the wall. It got into that jet stream out there. Even when the wind is not blowing out that way, it seems to carry, but Butler did a heck of a job to run it down and save at least one run. Of course, that run would have scored and the inning would still be going, but nothing doing for the Cougars as we've played 3 in game number 2 of the doubleheader. It's a 2-2 ball game. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540.
Stephen Williams and Scott Miller back here with you at Ragsdale Field. 2-2, the 8th-ranked Saints of Flagler College and Columbus State tied as Columbus State goes for the doubleheader sweep here on this Saturday afternoon. It's the 9-1-2 coming up here in the top of the 4th inning for the Saints. Jabe Molinaro, the first one to step to the plate against Mike McGinnity, and he does so by watching the first pitch down low for ball 1. Molinaro singled right back through the middle. His first time up, the first pitch he saw, the pitch misses again, 2-0. Drove in. A run for the Saints. 2-0. Driven into left field and hit hard, but Matt Nettles barely has to move a couple steps to his right, and there is out number 1.
With 1 out, now up the second baseman, number 1, Andrew Broadbeck.
Back to the top, Andrew Broadbeck. Cougars had trouble keeping him off the base paths in game number 1, but he's 0 for 2 so far in this one. A run in each of the last 2 innings for the Saints. Have this game tied at 2 as Broadbeck shows bunt and pulls back and takes a ball.
Finals from around the league today in game 1s. Pembroke beat Young Harris 12-1. North Georgia 9, Armstrong 6.
This one fouled away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Georgia Regents 3, Georgia Southwestern 2. And Aiken beat Montevallo 8-7 at Montevallo.
The 1-1 to Broadbeck, rolled back through the middle. A diving Blake Edwards can't get to it, and it'll scoot on into center field. It's the 9th hit of the day for the Saints, and there's a 1-out base runner.
The runner on first and 1 out, now batting the DH, number 6, Colin McMillan.
That'll bring up Colin McMillan, the designated hitter. He's 2 for 2 so far. A couple of singles for him. He also scored a run last inning.
Francis Marion is leading Lander 5-2 in the top of the 8th.
Lander just not the same team it was last year, obviously, as they check on the runner at first. They've lost a ton, as CSU is going to do when this year comes to a close, but they are just a shell of themselves right now.
It's interesting, when we were over there for basketball,
first pitch to McMillan is out high and wide for ball 1.
talking to a couple of people, they really thought, despite losing all the guys that they lost, that they had reloaded and would be okay. That has not worked out so far.
Yeah, 14 and 17 coming into play today, 6 and 12 in Peach Belt Conference play, and they are 11th out of 13 teams in the league. That fastball finds the strike zone, 1 ball and 1 strike.
The second game between Pembroke and Young Harris, all knotted at 5 in the bottom of the 5th up in North Carolina.
All right, Young Harris is Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, look at their series last weekend. We were there when it was going on. It was Francis Marion was in town. It was 24-3 in the first game. Then they lost 13-6, and then they came back in the third game and lost 9-7. That pitch misses, 2 balls and 1 strike. I mean, we were sitting in the softball press box just watching run after run after run go up on the board in that first game. It looked like it would just never stop, and they finally kicked a field goal. And 24-3 made it a little bit respectable. Another check of the runner, a closer play this time, but Broadbeck back in again ahead of the throw. Cougars with both their runs on a flare shot into right field by Blake Edwards back in the second. Came with 2 outs and drove both of them in. On the ground towards Edwards at short. Plays the second hop to second for 1. The turn. Good stop by Chris Daniel on a low throw in the dirt. The runner McMillan had it beat out clearly over there at first. And Daniel did a nice job to keep that one from going in the dugout.
Broadbeck, with his speed, was right on top of Carson Bowers when he tried to make that turn and disrupted him.
It's one of the things about this field, though, too. The dugouts don't have fronts. You know, they are wide open from one end to the other, so if you make a wide throw and it has the right angle to it, there's a good chance it's going to wind up in the dugout. Butler at the plate, swings at the first one and fouls it off over towards the Student Recreation Center on the first base side. No balls and a strike. Butler 0 for 1 in the game. He also has a bunt, a sacrifice bunt his last time up. 9-3, Flagler out hitting the Cougars, but it's all tied at 2 in the runs column. He fouls another one off.
Mike has scattered 9 hits.
But he's not walked anybody.
That's the difference, isn't it?
That's how you can get away with that.
Yep.
If you're walking people and giving up 9 hits, there's runs all over the board. That was the thing about Jake Ezel. He walked guys, but he wasn't giving up hits. So he went from one end of the spectrum to the other. The 0-2 near the outside corner. An extra split-second look at it from Dustin Averett. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Jake walked 7, but he struck out 9. Allowed just 5 hits in his 7 innings.
Runner McMillan at first has his lead. The 1-2 to Butler. Into right field in the air. Long run for Jackson Oliver, and it's not going to get there in time. It's down near the line. Runner headed for third. They'll throw the brakes on him there. Jackson Oliver with some good hustle gets it back in time to keep the runner from scoring. But they're both in scoring position now. Second and third and 2 down.
Jackson was able to cut that ball off before it got down into the corner. Had it gotten down there, the run would have scored easily.
And now Mike has a chance again to try to dance out of trouble. He left the bases loaded in the third inning. He left a couple of runners on the corners back in the first, and he left a runner on in the second. Trying to leave 2 in scoring position here, but he's got to get through Kranick. First pitch to the left-handed hitting Kranick is in there for a strike. Mike's never been an overpowering, dominant starter. You're going to put him in play. He's just going to have to try to pitch his way out of jams if they go for hits. Fastball low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And with the struggles here, we've had some new tenants move into the Cougar bullpen.
Just rentals, though.
Yes.
1-1 pitch. Good swing, but fouled straight back. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Mike just 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. Butler at second, McMillan at third, 2 away, and a 2-2 game here in the top of the 4th inning. Flagler, the number 8 team in the country. CSU already with 1 win today over them. Down the left field line, but well out of play and foul. It'll stay a 1-2 count. That was pitch number 76 for the right-hander. Although pitch count doesn't really mean a whole lot when you look at Jake Ezel. He threw up over 145 pitches in game 1.
And we've talked about this a lot during our broadcast and last year. It's pitch count in college is a little different for a couple of reasons.
The 1-2, high and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Number one, these guys are pitching once a week. You know, pitch one weekend, pitch the next weekend. So you can have a little higher pitch count than if you were pitching every 5th day.
Goose is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a 2-2 game. Reaches out and fouls another one off. And we'll try it again. Kranick wears the helmet that has the face attachment on the front side, so it makes you think he's been hit up there in the right side of the face at some point. It's usually the only reason you see guys wear that extra attachment on the helmet that covers up their jawline. McGinnity's 2-2. Swung through it, tipped into the mitt of Dustin Averett, and a big strikeout gets Columbus State out of the inning without a run coming across to score. So a 2-out double put 2 in scoring position, but the Saints strand 2 more, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-2, all tied here at Ragsdale Field on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Cougar starter Mike McGinnity dancing out of trouble again. He's given up 10 hits through the first 4 innings, but he's allowed just 2 runs. It's a 2-2 game. Cougars and Saints of Flagler tied as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
McGinnity is stranded 8 through the first 4 innings.
Chris Daniel to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th inning against O'Reilly, the right-hander. Cougars have just 3 hits through the first 3 innings to this point, as the first pitch is in there for a called strike. All 3 of the Cougar hits coming back in the 2nd inning. The 0-1 pitch nearly hit Daniel as it went flying by. Daniel just froze his body, and they are going to say he started to head for first.
I tell you what, there was a funny sound to that. It did not sound like it hit the mitt to me. And Greg Appleton comes out. That was not the sound that a ball usually makes when it just hits the mitt. But Greg's not going to win that argument. Neither is Chris. And I don't know. I couldn't tell if it hit him or not, but he was trying to sell it anyway.
Well, the thing was, he sold it late.
Yeah.
You know, when it first went by, he just stood there. You know, if you get hit, you generally go to work really quickly with it.
The plate umpire is fixing his shin guard.
Did it hit him, maybe?
That could have been the sound that maybe
shin guard?
it hit his shin guard after it instead of hitting the glove. That would make some sense, because it did not sound like it hit the glove.
1-1 pitch is rolled on the ground to short. The shortstop handles it and tosses on to first. And a bang play goes the way of the Saints. Oberg's throw created a close play at first, and Daniel thought he had beat it. The first base umpire had other ideas.
Oberg, first of all, he made a heck of a play to field that ball, because it took a short hop and ate him up. It came up right on him, but he had soft enough hands to make the play, but then he threw a little low, but got bailed out with a good scoop.
That'll bring Matt Nettles to the plate with nobody on and one out, as Nettles crushes this one down the line, and that's going to end up in the Flagler bullpen. A bit of Olay work from the man in the jacket.
Standing down there without a glove, he wanted no part of that, wisely.
That ball hit exactly where he's standing. Second pitch is a breaking ball that's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. Nettles singled back in the second inning, part of that three-hit, two-run rally. The pitch down low with 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was Daniel, Nettles, and Edwards that picked up the 3 hits. A 1-2 rolled right past the Flagler dugout, and it'll stay 1-2. Cougars have only picked up 3 hits, but they are running the pitch count up on Mr. O'Reilly. He's already up over 60 with just 1 out here in the 4th. Into his wind, the 1-2. Pulled the string on him and got him on the changeup. Nettles out in front and off balance, and there's a strikeout for O'Reilly, his 4th.
The sun makes a cameo appearance here again.
2 outs. Now batting, the second baseman, number 10, Carson Bauer.
Carson Bauer is the batter. Carson struck out his first time up. Goes after the first one here, and how about that? Right off the netting and stuck behind one of the black metal poles. You could not wedge it any there better, and I'm not sure we're getting that one.
No, that one's not. We're not getting that one unless it falls on its own accord later.
Bowers chops this one back towards the mound. O'Reilly moves to his right, fields, fires, and it's a easy 1-2-3 inning for the Flagler Saints. 4 in the books here at Ragsdale. We're all knotted at 2 here on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Stephen Williams, Scott Miller back here with you in the press box where we're nice and toasty. Unfortunately for those sitting beneath us, it's not quite as nice and toasty outside, even though this is late March.
Been a tough day weather-wise for the last weekend of March.
To the top of the 5th we go. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Saints. Todd Giuliano, the third baseman, starts things off. First pitch from Mike McGinnity took a lot off of it and left it in the dirt for ball 1.
Last time I heard you broadcast a game, Mike Sanda and I were sitting in a Tennessee hotel room.
Line drive into left. That's going to sink down in front of Matt Nettles and get in for a base hit. That's hit number 11 on the day already for Flagler. We don't like to talk about that weekend.
The NCAA regional, we were waiting to see if we headed back to South Carolina or back home to Columbus. Unfortunately, it was back home to Columbus the next day. We were in Limbo, Tennessee, which is just outside of Caryville, Tennessee, where the hotel was, about an hour away from where the basketball arena was.
Nick Oberg, the batter, lays down a bunt, but it's on the foul side of the first base line for strike one.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't get started either on the NCAA probs. Hashtag NCAA regional probs in Division II.
D2 probs.
Yeah.
The 0-1, another bunt attempt. This one right back to the mound. They may have a chance. He'll look to second, instead decide for the sure thing over at first. It would have been bang bang at second, but take the sure thing, and he gets the out.
Yeah, that's a good decision here in a tie game midway through the game.
That'll bring up Sean Hendon, the left fielder. He's a perfect 2 for 2. 8 of the 9 Flagler starters already have hits in this game. Mike McGinnity, though, has worked some magic, and he hopes he has a little bit more, but Greg Appleton is on his way out to the mound. There is a pitcher up and throwing, and he has made the call to the bullpen. So a quick hook here for Mike McGinnity, who doesn't get out of the 5th inning. He gives up just 2 runs, but there's a runner on second here in a 2-2 game. Cougars going to the bullpen. We'll tell you who the new pitcher is after the break here on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Greg Appleton going to the bullpen, and he calls upon a right-hander.
Sean Thomas, 6'1", 200-pound junior out of Columbus, 5.23 ERA, a record of 1-1 on the season. This is his 11th appearance, all out of the bullpen. He's got 1 save, 10 in the 3rd innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned runs, and the strikeouts and walks are even at 10.
Thomas threw on Wednesday in the game against Lee up in Emerson, Georgia. He faced 2 batters, walked them both. That was it. So he's hoping for a better outing here as he goes to work against Sean Hendon. With Giuliano, the runner out at second, the potential go-ahead run here in the top of the 5th inning of a 2-2 game. Mike McGinnity just didn't have it completely there. Give him a lot of credit, though. He battled and actually worked a couple of miracles for this to still be a 2-2 game. First one to Hendon. He shows bunt. It bounces away from Dustin Averett, and the wild pitch will do the Saints a favor and move the go-ahead run to 3rd base. So 4 1/3 for Mike McGinnity. He's given up 2 runs to this point. He's on the hook for, though, that run over at 3rd if it should score. He gave up 11 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. 1-0 pitch is an off-speed inside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Wind blowing straight in now. It's been swirling all day.
That was a quick cameo, too, from the sun.
Yeah, gone again, and feels like the temperature dropped.
Breaking ball buckled the knees that time of Hendon. It's in there for a strike. This is a strikeout situation, if you ever had one. Into the air to left field. That should do the job for the sacrifice fly at the very least. Matt Nettles, a couple steps shy of the track, will make the grab. But the wild pitch will hurt because it allows the runner to come home from third to score. And Flagler retakes the lead. It's 3-2 Saints.
Got that ball up in the air, and it's a good thing the wind was blowing in.
Yeah, when he initially hit it, I thought that might be one that left the ballpark. So the bases are clear. Thomas goes back to the windup, and Fox is at the plate. The first pitch from Thomas, right over the outside corner for strike 1. So the Cougars now with work to do when they come back to the plate. Still plenty of outs to play with, though. The 0-1, right back to the outside corner and right back to a called strike. (3-2). Flagler in front. The 0-2, he went right back to it again, and Fox couldn't connect. He swings through it. A strikeout for Thomas, who comes in and does his job, but a wild pitch is costly as it allows a sacrifice fly, and the Saints have the lead back 3-2 halfway through game number 2 here on this Saturday afternoon. You're listening to Columbus State Baseball here on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Flagler gets a run in the top of the 5th, and the Saints have a 3-2 lead now over Columbus State here at Ragsdale Field. Third game of this series comes your way tomorrow, right here from Ragsdale Field and on News Radio 540 WDAK. First pitch, 1 o'clock.
And the pregame show will begin at 12:50, where we will hope for warmer weather tomorrow. Supposed to be.
Baseball at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Softball back home in action tomorrow starting at noon. So it'll be a busy day here on the Columbus State campus. The first pitch here in the bottom of the 5th inning to Blake Edwards is over the plate for strike 1. 0-1 pitch. Reaches out and rolls it foul over to his teammates waiting for it in the dugout. 0-2.
Weather.com says it's 57 degrees and feels like 57. Weather.com is broken because if it's 57 with this wind, it's going to feel a whole lot colder than that.
Fastball up high. A ball and 2 strikes. Weather.com is not here right now.
Yes. Weather.com, if the Weather.com was here, it would have 2 blankets, a big jacket, and a hoodie around them like everybody in the stands just about.
The 1-2 to Edwards. Up high again, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's been O'Reilly's go-to with 2 strikes, is to try to go up in the zone. Blake has the biggest CSU hit of the day. He's 1 for 1 with a 2-run 2-out single. Tipped that one off of the catcher Giuliano, or rather Molinaro. So he'll stay alive in a 2-2 count. Wind really whipping in. You can start to hear it here now. Edwards reaches out and fouls another one. This one out of play. It'll stay 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The guy that will probably be the Game 3 starter tomorrow, Mayako, has a 2.43 ERA.
Best of the bunch, right?
Yep.
Another 2-2, a breaking ball. Blake started to go around. No appeal down to first, though, so he is able to hold up. And the count full. Good at bat once again from Blake Edwards, who really put a good at bat together his last time up. Full count delivery. Fouled off, cued off the cap of the bat, and so Blake right now a thorn in the side of O'Reilly. Edwards leading off the inning. We'll see another pitch. The 9th pitch of the at-bat. Popped it up behind the plate. Back our direction. Get your hands ready, Scott. It's just over here to our right.
I was ready. Just a little low. Can I come up from under the table now? Those kind don't bother me so much. It's those screamers with the top spin that get over the net.
Still 3-2 the count. Another payoff pitch. Outside, and a phenomenal at bat by Blake Edwards, and you can hear the Flagler supporters not happy with that.
Boy, Blake is just really locked in at the plate right now.
That was a 10-pitch at bat that resulted in a walk. He had a 9-pitch at bat earlier that resulted in a 2-run single.
Second walk for O'Reilly.
Now it falls to Tim Massengale before we go back to the head of the CSU order. Massengale 0 for 1, flew out to right. His only at bat so far as the first pitch is in there for strike 1.
See, we've got some red blankets. We've got a leopard print blanket, a jaguar print blanket.
There's a baseball one.
Plaid.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it looks like.
Yeah.
A check of the runner at first. Edwards back safely.
Somebody's under Grandma's quilt.
Another check of the runner, and again, Edwards back safely. I hear the chiming of the bells from the clock tower, signifying 6 o'clock local time here in Columbus. The 0-1 ripped into left field. Tim Massengale shoots that one between short and third. There's a base knock for the third baseman, and there's 2 on with nobody out.
And that's what you can do when you've got a bottom of the order that can swing the bat and get base hits for you. You know, you might think there, well, maybe that was a sacrifice situation. Well, not with this club.
Now, though, you believe it probably is. Your leadoff hitter and a good runner up there who's dangerous when he tries to lay down a bunt without sacrificing. Brendan Collins walking up there now. 2 on. 1-run game, nobody out here in the 5th. It was the 5th when CSU started its rally back. In game number 1, they trailed 4-1 going to the 5th, got 2 in the 5th, and then plated 4 in the 6th. Brendan shows bunt. The breaking ball bounces away from Molinaro, but right out in front of home plate, and he'll go retrieve it, but it is ball 1. O'Reilly closing in on 80 pitches now.
Stirring a little bit in their pen, but nobody getting loose.
Corners in on the grass right now for the Saints, expecting the bunt. Brendan lays down a good one. This is going to take a tough play, and Brendan is going to beat it out. Laid down the perfect bunt. Giuliano's throw not in time, and that's why it's even more dangerous to have him laying down that bunt. So the bases are loaded with nobody out in a one-run game, and Jackson Oliver striding to the plate. That was best case scenario right there.
You knew when it started headed toward the area where it was headed, they had no shot to get him.
Catcher Molinaro is out to the mound to speak with O'Reilly, and now the bullpen does a little more than just stir as there's bigger movement starting to happen down there. Edwards at third, Massengale at second, Collins on at first, and it's Jackson Oliver who's at the plate. Jackson is 0 for 1 in the game with a sacrifice bunt.
Michael Hankey just took his warm-up jacket off down in the bullpen for the Saints.
And there goes the bullpen catcher. Cougar at every bag in a one-run game with nobody out. First pitch to Jackson Oliver, inside corner, a called strike. How about we hang a crooked number up on the board?
I am all for that suggestion.
The inning all started with that great 10-pitch at bat by Blake Edwards. Jackson rolls this one through the right side. It's in for one. One run comes in. They play station-to-station baseball, and it's tied at 3. Everybody jogs forward 90 feet. The bag's still loaded, and it is a 3-3 game. And I would say the time is now for Mike McClellan to bust out of this little mini slump he's in today.
0 for 7 today in the 2 games. How about he bust maybe a window up on the Cunningham Center balcony?
I think they'll be okay with paying for that.
I think so.
Bag still packed, nobody out. The first pitch to McClellan. It's a towering fly ball hitting to deep left center field. The wind, though, will help keep that in the ballpark, but it is going to get a run home to the plate. The throw goes to third. It's not in time, and a heads-up play by Jackson Oliver to trail everybody. So all the runners advance, and Mike McClellan drives home the go-ahead run with a sacrifice fly, and CSU leads.
So Mike just got under it, but he got it in the air and got the run home, and then a mistake on the throw back to the infield. They threw to the wrong base, and as you said, Jackson was heads up enough to take advantage of that and scoot on in the second.
He wasn't initially tagging. He was hanging out close to the bag, and once he saw where the throw was going, he took off. Now the infield coming almost all the way in. The only one back is the second baseman Broadbeck, who's halfway in. Dustin Averett at the plate. First pitch to him, out of the zone for ball 1. Cougars with the answer after Flagler takes the lead with a run in the top of the 5th. CSU has 2 on the board here in the bottom half, and they're threatening to add more.
So the 5th inning in both games been the go inning for the Cougars.
Brendan Collins at third, Jackson Oliver at second. It's Dustin Averett at the plate, looking to extend his 9-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 2 right now. And now O'Reilly has slowed to a crawl on the mound, and Dustin Averett will call time. Outfield deep all the way around. Jackson runs well at second. A base hit would give him a good chance to score. 1-0 pitch. A check swing, excuse me. It fouled off into the netting on the first base side. It's 1-1. CSU with 6 hits now. 3 of them here in this inning. First 4 hitters of the inning reached. 3 hits in a 2-run second, 3 hits in a 2-run 5th. 1-1 cue shot down the first base side, but foul. A ball and 2 strikes. 4-3. Columbus State back in front, and how big would it be if they could finish this off and get the doubleheader sweep? We're a long way from that, but how huge would that be? 1-2, swing and a miss. The Cougars have not been good with a runner on third and one out today. I believe that's the third time, right? They've struck out.
3 times.
Chris Daniel will try to pick a teammate up the same way Blake Edwards did earlier in this game. That was back in the second. Daniel will try now as he's 1 for 2. Goes after the first one, fouls it straight back, and he's down in the count 0-1.
If O'Reilly can get out of this with just the 2 runs given up, it'll be a little shot of the arm for him and the Saints.
Just thinking the exact same thing. Momentum all of a sudden wouldn't be firmly in the Columbus State dugout. 4-3 the score, bottom 5. 0-1 to Daniel is up high above the letters, 1 ball, 1 strike. A walk started the inning, and then 3 consecutive singles, including an RBI single by Jackson Oliver, tied the game up. Mike McClellan's sacrifice fly gave the Cougars the lead. 1-1 breaking ball, spins into the zone, 1-2.
Righty and a lefty getting loose in the Saints bullpen.
O'Reilly set, the 1-2. Reaches out and rolled it over to second. Broadbeck fields and throws, and Flagler does limit the damage and get out of it with just 2 runs coming across to score. But Columbus State answers the Flagler run with 2 of its own, and the Cougars are back in front. 4-3 CSU leads Flagler here on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Good bottom of the 5th inning for Columbus State. Puts 2 on the board, and they lead the 8th-ranked Saints of Flagler College 4-3. But you wonder if they're going to look back at it in the latter innings of this and say, man, we wish we would have gotten more.
Opportunity was certainly there, but she said the bugaboo today has been the runner at third with 1 out.
Jay Molinaro starts things off here in the top of the 6th against Sean Thomas, who stays on to continue his relief outing. The first pitch is a fastball. Down low for ball 1. Greg Appleton going to try to piece together the final 4 innings of this as Molinaro swings through it. Didn't have to use much of his bullpen in game number 1, and if you're talking about just pure bullpen arms, he didn't use any in game number 1. As a check swing on the 1-1, the first base umpire says he went around. It's 1-2.
Jordan Vilhauer begins to soft toss down in the pen, and I can't see the other side.
1-2 pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You wonder how much they're throwing to throw and stay warm, or if they're throwing to actually get loose.
Good luck on staying warm.
The 2-2, swing and a miss, went upstairs. Molinaro couldn't get it. He's down on strikes. That's the first out here of the sixth.
With one out now up, the second baseman, number 1, Andrew Broadbeck.
Thomas does average about a strikeout an inning, and he got one last inning to end the fifth. Picks up one here to start the sixth. Broadbeck lays down a bunt to start it off. Massengale on the run, long throw, and his throw pulls the first baseman Daniel off the bag. It'll be an infield single for Broadbeck and a one-out base runner.
Really, the only shot a third baseman has in a play like that is he bare hands it and makes the Chipper Jones play in one motion. Not a lot of guys can make that play, though.
And there's a reason it's one guy's name.
Yes.
One down. Broadbeck, the speedy runner on at first. McMillan to the plate. Ball bounces in the dirt. Dustin Averett does a nice job to keep it in front of him. It's taken for ball one.
You know, with the cold temperature today and that wind chill, these metal bleachers sitting on that, there's somebody sitting on the left side. I'm not sure they've moved in about 3 innings. We might want to check and see if they're frozen to the bleacher. They may be stuck over there.
The 1-0 pitch outside. Dustin Averett was trying to go set up inside, and Thomas missed all the way across the plate.
These fans would pay for a seat warmer today, wouldn't they?
I would almost at some points, and I'm in here.
Yeah. You've been wimping out and had your windows shut all day.
My eyes can see through them. The 2-0. Breaking ball and a good one there from Thomas. It's 2-1.
I gave it a shot. It didn't even last a half inning of game 2. I just could not see through these frosty windows here, so I've got to suck it up.
Long fly ball hitting to right center field. The wind just crushed that fly ball, though, and routine right center now for Brendan Collins, who makes the grab. That ball had good trajectory off the bat, and they had to hit a wall.
It really did. That would have been on a day where either the wind's not blowing or it's blowing out. That ball's trouble in the gap, but as you said, it just totally knocked it down.
Lorenzo Butler now up with 2 down. We'll see if Broadbeck tries to get himself into scoring position. Thomas working out of the stretch. The first pitch reaches out. It's a little flare. That's trouble if it's fair. It's not, as Chris Daniel with a nice dive and roll and a big smile on his face as he hops up.
It was a great effort, but not the most graceful of ones, and that's why Chris has got that big grin on his face right now. He's probably hearing from his teammates a little bit on that one.
If he's not, he's going to be hearing about it when he makes it back to the third base dugout.
I think the Russian judge gave him a 2 on that one.
It might have been generous. 0-1 the count to Butler. Broadbeck has 18 stolen bases on the year. He had not been caught stealing, though, prior to game number 1. Blaine Miller changed that. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. They had him caught off for a second. If Averett throws it when he initially thought about it, Broadbeck dead to rights, but he double clutched it. Oh, and 2. Caught too much of the plate, but he'll live to tell about it. Fly ball to right field. Jackson Oliver will put the squeeze on it to put another 0 up on the board. So a nice job in the inning by Sean Thomas. Pitches around a bunt single with 1 out, and we'll move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cougars still in front, 4-3 good guys here on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Scoreless inning put on the board by Sean Thomas, the Cougar reliever. And the Cougars hold a 4-3 lead here over Flagler in Game 2 of our doubleheader as CSU goes for the doubleheader sweep. Matt Nettles digs in to start the bottom of the 6th inning, and he does so by taking a first pitch in there for strike 1. Nettles on the game, 1 for 2 with a run scored as the breaking ball misses low and outside. It's 1-1. Not a great day on the tennis courts. 9-0.
At Armstrong.
Yeah, the Armstrong men were ranked 4th in the country as Nettles swings through it. It's 1-2. And the Armstrong women, I believe, were number 1 in the country. So it's not like they play bad competition, but rough day overall for the Cougar and Lady Cougar tennis teams. Nettles down on strikes, swings through that one, takes just 4 pitches to retire him, and there's one away. They're having another really good year, though. Evan Isaac's group having another fine campaign.
It's just par for the course, isn't it?
It's just tough. And you thought maybe, I know the tennis coach left from Armstrong after last year, took, I believe, the North Carolina State women's tennis coaching position. You thought maybe they might drop off, but obviously that doesn't appear to be the case as Carson Bowers takes the first pitch strike.
They've just been a powerhouse for so long down there.
They're better than a lot of the Division I schools are. They're just playing a different game than the rest of the people. The 0-1. Bowers hits this one high in the air to left field. As we've seen, though, nothing's going to leave the ballpark right now as the left fielder Hendon settles under it with plenty of room to work, and there's 2 away. You're going to have to absolutely maul a pitch on a line out of here today.
Yeah, you got to hit it low and just catch the wind. It has been swirling today, and you just have to catch it at the right time, where it doesn't hinder you, even if it doesn't help you.
Blake Edwards up now as O'Reilly tries to make quick work of the Cougars here in the 6th. The first pitch fastball high and away for ball 1.
Yeah, but you're right. Evan Isaacs, what a job he's done building the program into a powerhouse here as well.
Edwards a cue shot over to first base. The first baseman Fox will field and step on the bag himself, and that was quick. O'Reilly gets out of the inning 1, 2, 3. And the Cougars and Saints are through 6. 4-3, Columbus State in front. 3 innings to go here at Ragsdale Field on the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540.
Scott Miller, Stephen Williams back at the ballpark. Top of the 7th, 4-3, Cougars on top. And Nick Kranick will lead it off here. Pitch is high. Next pitch to Kranick is fouled away. Weather is such a big topic today. The weather person trying to sneak in some extra airtime. The 1-1 is lifted in the air toward the left field line, and it's going to drop right in front of Nettles. Again, he had that long run, and it just dropped right in no man's land out there, and he gets it back in a hurry to hold him to a single.
With a runner on first, around that, the third baseman, number 15, Todd Giuliano.
That's twice now. It's been a left-handed hitter that's just hit a little flare down that line. There's nothing he can do about it.
You just couldn't walk out there and place it any better. Todd Giuliano, the third baseman. Breaking ball misses outside, 1-0. So a potential tying run is on at first with nobody out here in the top of the seventh. Massengale in on the grass at third in case they try to move the runner over. And he's swinging, and he hits it through the vacated hole at short. Into left field, first and second, and nobody out. Blake Edwards was cheating over toward the bag and swung away instead of trying to bunt.
It's very similar to the way that CSU chose to play it in the fifth. Didn't lay down the bunt, instead chose to swing and got a hit out of it.
Now let's see if the shortstop, Nick Oberg, will try to move the runners up to get two runners in scoring position. Chris Daniel creeping in on the grass at first. In this situation, if you're bunting, you want to make the third baseman field the bunt. The pitch is downstairs as he showed bunt. Takes it for ball one. Next pitch is downstairs. 2-0. Check of the runner at second. And the 2-0 shows bunt again, bunts it right back to the mound. He's going to go to third and get the force there.
That's just well done. And what I really loved about that was the way Thomas positioned his feet. As you watch him attack it there, he got himself set up so that he could field it and spin and throw rather than being clumsy and not graceful going up to it. He put himself in great position to field, turn, and make a snap throw.
Good direction from Dustin Abrett, who was yelling 3 all the way. So one down now, and runners at first and second. Fastball misses inside to Sean Hendon. Checks the runner at second, and the 1-0 bounce to second, could be two, flipped to short, one, on to first, two, a double play. 4, 6, 3, and how about that? 2 on and nobody out, and the Saints come up empty here in the top of the seventh. We go to the bottom of the seventh inning. Time to stretch for the second time today at Ragsdale Field, with Columbus State leading Flagler 4-3. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540.
Columbus State.
4-3 CSU, bottom of the 7th in game number 2 of the doubleheader, trying to sweep the 8th-ranked team in the country. Took the opening game against Flagler 9-4.
How about the shot in the arm, though, of nobody out and 2 on for Flagler in a 1-run game? You stop their sacrifice bunt, and then you get a double play to get out of it.
Now let's see if the offense can build off of that and tack some more runs on here and widen this lead. Tim Massengale, number 9 hitter, will lead off the bottom of the 7th. Breaking ball is in there for a called strike 1.
Next pitch from O'Reilly will be number 100.
Fastball high and in, 1-1. Time is granted.
Men's National Championship, D2, Florida Southern. 15-point win over Indiana, PA.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. That game on CBS earlier today. The big stage for D2. One-two misses outside, 2-2. Our computer back at the studio. Sometimes computers have minds of their own. A computer that, where the commercials are played, has decided to turn into Hal. Swing and a foul tip back into the catcher's glove, and Tim is down on strikes for out number 1. Brendan Collins, top of the order now, where Hal, the computer from Space Odyssey, had, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't allow you to do that. So Mackie Mason and Matt Golden back there trying to do emergency repair. Pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike.
It's just like the one here to my left that decided to do an update in the middle of the game.
Yeah, that's right. What is
without
it?
asking.
What is the rise of the computers today? The 0-1 showed bunt and just missed the strike zone, and the count is even at 1-1. Last time up, Brendan, in a sacrifice situation, dropped down a bunt that was so perfectly placed that he beat it out. And now he rips one in the left field, but the left fielder, Hendon, will move over toward the line a couple of steps and make the grab.
That was the kind of ball with a little more elevation to it that would have gotten out of here. He hit that much on the nose.
So 2 down here in the 7th, and that will bring up Jackson Oliver, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI single in this game. So do we all have our walk-up music now?
Yeah,
all the guys?
Did you not send yours in?
No, I didn't. No one asked me. The pitch misses, 1-0.
Well, we'll blame Ryan Eiley because he's the one that brought them all to me. So we'll let you talk to him after the game.
Our Australian pal. Swing and a miss. Wes Carroll's wife, Jill, is from Australia. Let's see if Jill knows where Ryan is from. Ferny Grove, Australia.
I'd never heard of it.
You haven't heard of Ferny Grove, Australia? Bunts it foul.
I know the big metropolis.
Yeah. I thought everyone had. Just outside of, look out for that kangaroo, Australia. The 1-2. Lifted into left center field. Butler coming over from the center field position and will haul it in. And an easy 1-2-3 inning for the Cougars here as we go to the 8th in game number 2. Columbus State 4, Flagler 3. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Eighth inning here at Ragsdale, 4-3. Cougars on top of Flagler despite 14 hits from the Saints. And Skylar Fox will lead off the eighth against Sean Thomas, and there's a breaking ball strike.
So I looked up Fernie Grove.
Yes.
It's just outside of Brisbane, Australia. I've heard of that.
Yes, yeah.
It's a city of about 5,000.
Pitch is high, 1-1. Swing and a miss.
Right about on 5,600 as of about 4 years ago.
One, two from Sean is high, 2-2. I'm sure it's a lovely place, especially this time of year, which would be fall down there. 2-2 pitch, called strike three on the inside corner. A little showtime ring him up for the plate umpire as he gets a word or two from Fox on his way back to the dugout.
3 strikeouts now for Sean Thomas, who's tossed 3 scoreless innings now.
And the catcher, Jabe Molinaro. Breaking ball misses low and away. He's 1 for 3 on the day. On this game, he did not play in the first game. The pitch is in there for a called strike, 1-1.
And we turned the lights on here, and then the clouds parted, and now we don't really need them.
1-1, a soft liner in the right that's going to drop in there for a base hit. Collins cuts it off and holds Molinaro to his second single of the day.
Isn't he the one? He only had 6 hits all year.
Yep. 182 coming in, so he's got 2 here today, 2 for 4. And we will get a pinch runner.
Greg is also out there as well. I was trying to figure out who was going to get their sub in first.
So Coach Appleton will make a pitching change here in the 8th inning in a 1-run game. So we'll take a 60-second pitching change break. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. And new pitcher for the Cougars, not a stranger to this day, however.
Left-hander Caden Ferguson, a senior. We saw him in game number 1. He tossed 2 scoreless innings as he threw the 8th and 9th innings of a 9-4 victory for the CSU in game 1. And now he'll come on here to face the top of the Flagler order here in the top of the 8th inning.
With the pinch runner at first now, Bryce Evans pinch running for the catcher, Molinaro. And Broadbeck with a couple of singles in this game. Good speed, so Massengale in on the grass at third, and the pitch from the lefty is way outside for ball one.
Now, his first outing, it was 9-4 when he came in. Completely different feeling coming into this one now than he had before, and this is a guy that's not used to being in relief situations, so we'll see how he responds.
1-0. That one just missed the outside corner, and it's 2-0.
Good outing by Sean Thomas. 3 scoreless innings. He would give up a run if the runner from first would score, but all in all, he pitched well out of the bullpen.
And the 2-0, there's a strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
And what Sean did was, you know, in all likelihood, he ate up a lot of innings and kept that bullpen fresh for tomorrow.
As the sun comes back out strongly here. That wind howling straight in, though. There goes a runner. Big jump, hit and run, fouled back to the screen. 2-2.
Figure they've wiped themselves out of an inning already today with a double play ball, and you got a good runner at the plate in Broadbeck. So why not put things in motion?
Evans just 1 for 2 in the stolen base department in limited time, but he got a big jump against the lefty that time. 2-2 pitch, not going. Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
That was absolutely nasty. The ball started at the front hip of Broadbeck and then broke over the heart of the plate. It is as tough as it gets for a left-hander to try to hang in on that pitch, much less make contact.
And Colin McMillan, the DH, couple of singles and a run scored in this game. Yeah, you're thinking more about preserving your health more than getting a hit there. Throw to first, back standing.
Well, at first it looks like a fastball out of his hand that's coming right at your hip, and then all of a sudden you realize with 2 strikes that if you don't swing at it, you're about to be rung up, so you take a not very good swing at it.
Caden checks that runner. And the pitch chopped over the mound, fielded by, oh, it's under the glove of the second baseman, Carson Bowers, and everybody's safe. He came up too soon on it, brought the glove up, and it skipped right under his glove. It went off of his leg. That did prevent the ball from going into the outfield and getting that runner to third.
I think he was thinking too quickly about fielding and trying to step on the second base bag that it's going to cost him an error.
So, first and second and 2 down now for Lorenzo Butler, the center fielder. He has a double in this game. Checks the runner at second, and the pitch, sharply hit ball up the middle. Here comes a potential tying run to the plate. Here comes the throw. It is cut off, and this game is tied at 4, and the error comes home to roost. Now you just got to cut it off right here. Don't give them any more. Evans scores. And Nick Kranick, who has 3 hits on the day. A 4-4 ball game. Pitches downstairs. 1-0.
CSU's had an answer every time Flagler's put a run up. See if they have one here.
16 hits on the day. But it's just a 4-4 game. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Ferguson has now gone up against 3 left-handers since coming in. None of them have looked comfortable at the plate.
Checks the runner at second. The 1-1 pitch is a liner in the left. Matt Nettles going back, and he's going to make the catch as the ball sliced back toward him just short of the track. So damage control to get out of it with a tie game, but giving up the run to tie the game as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 4-4 game in the nightcap of the doubleheader. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Bottom of the 8th inning, a 4-4 game in the nightcap of the doubleheader. Mike McClellan will lead it off, and the first pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. The new catcher is Igor Baez, who was the catcher in the first game today for the Saints. Mike had a sacrifice fly RBI his last time up. He was 0 for 7 on the day before that at bat. Fastball high. He could untie this game with one swing of the bat. If there's anyone who could power it through that wind today, it's Mike McClellan. Swing and a miss. He was trying to do that. The breaking ball. A ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, laid off of it outside. 2-2.
O'Reilly has retired the last 6 he's faced. 1, 2, 3 innings in the 6th and 7th.
The righty kicks and fires in the dirt. Low and away, and that runs the count full, 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way. Inside, ball 4. Good start to the 8th. We'll get a pinch runner for McClellan at first.
It'll be Caleb Williams.
So Caleb Williams goes in to run for McClellan. And Dustin Avert. Let's see how the Cougars want to play this here with a man at first. Nobody out in a tie game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Dustin 0 for 3.
Caleb Williams 1 for 2 on the base paths. Arguably, though, the fastest runner that CSU has, starter or not.
Throw to first, and he's back easily. A right-hander is ready if needed in the Saints bullpen. He's been up for a while, standing and watching down there now. Third baseman in on the grass, showing bunt, and he bunts it foul back to the screen. That time, Dustin did not really square and try to give himself up. That bat was at an angle like he was trying to bunt for a base hit. I'm sure he wasn't, but that was the position of the bat at the time. Check of the runner. Squaring again. This time he pops it up, and the third baseman grabs it in foul territory. Throw back to first. He's back safely. So unable to get the bunt down. Popped it up for out number one. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Chris Daniel. 1 for 3 in this game.
Chris Daniel.
So let's see if Chris can pick his teammate up, throw over to first, back safely.
You wonder now, this would be a good hit and run spot. Daniel, a guy that handles the bat well, he's hit a bunch of balls right at the shortstop today. Be a good chance with a good runner at first that might be able to swipe the bag to even up the ante a little bit and put him in motion and let the guy swing.
He's got a hole over there because the first baseman having to play on the bag. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Second baseman Broadbeck is cheating over a little bit toward that hole. Everyone on the infield is shifted over to the right a little bit as that wind really picks up and howls straight in now.
Yeah, third baseman Giuliano is playing the hole, not the line, the hole.
Williams gets his lead. There he goes. Pitches high and outside. Throw down to second. He is not in time. He's in there safely.
I think that was a pitch out. I think he just stole the base on a pitch out.
I agree with you. I think it was a pitch out. It was not a very good pitch out. It was too far, high and outside, and Baez had to reach up and make the grab and did not leave him in a good position to make a strong throw.
And he didn't make a good exchange either from glove to hand.
So a stolen base gets a potential go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the count even 1-1 on Chris Daniel. So a fast man at second. And the off-speed pitches on the outside corner for a called strike 2, 1-2.
A hitter at the plate here that doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. He has a pretty compact swing.
It's a big hole between short and third with the shortstop Oberg cutting in behind the runner.
And Giuliano has to play closer to the bag just in case of a steal.
1-2 fastball outside.
That's what happens. Now you put a speedy runner at second. Giuliano can't cheat as much because he can't get caught in a foot race trying to cover up the third base bag.
See, this is too where I was surprised the pitch is away. With your infield position like this, you want to try to bust him inside instead of away where he can steer it the opposite way through that hole.
Especially with a guy that's proven he's so willing to do so.
O'Reilly taking his time. The game is on the line right here. 4-4 in the bottom of the 8th. Cougars with a runner at second and 1 down. The pitch swung on and fouled it off the catcher. Still 2-2.
And the way the wind's blowing, if you could get one down that left field line area, there's all kinds of green space for it to fall. Cougars have been burned by that a couple of times in this game. It's time for one to pay off.
Hendon is playing over in the gap, and he would never get to one down the line. And there is a line drive toward the left fielder, though he had him played perfectly and makes the grab for out number 2.
That ball was hit extremely hard.
If Hendon is playing more straight away, that one's in the gap, but they had him played just right. So 2 down now to take a 2-out rally by the Cougars. Matt Nettles, a double and a couple of strikeouts in this game. Pitch to Matt, just misses outside, 1-0.
Let's see if he can make an adjustment. The last time he was up there down on strikes, he was way off balance. They mixed speeds on him, and he had trouble figuring out what was coming.
So O'Reilly trying to work his way out of a jam here in the tie game in the 8th. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Well, Matt find a hole somewhere and get that go-ahead run in and shut him down in the 9th. One pitch, off speed, dropped right in there for a called strike 2.
Again, though, that hole is huge on that left side of the infield, with Oberg pinching the middle.
And the 1-2 pitch, a little shot right off the glove with the pitcher behind the mound. Everybody's going to be safe. Hit it right back through the middle. O'Reilly got a glove on it, and it skittered behind the mound, and he scrambled back there to pick it up, but had no shot at getting anyone, and it's 1st and 3rd with 2 down.
Be an infield base knock for Nettles, and now the stage is set for Carson Bowers, who has been hitting it well today.
Carson is 0 for 3 in this game. Carson would like to make up for an error in the top of this inning that kept the inning alive and eventually allowed a run to score to tie this game. And the first pitch misses inside for ball 1. Runners on the corners, 2 down. Tie game, bottom of the 8th. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Cougars won the opening game, looking for the sweep. The 1-0 is ripped foul down the third base line. O'Reilly has gone the distance. One pitch on the way. In on his hands, fouled it away. 1-2. Fresh supply of baseballs for the plate umpire.
CSU delivered with 2 outs back in the 2nd, and looking to do so again here in the 8th.
The 1-2 pitch, there goes a runner from first, and the pitch is fouled away over the first base side. Putting the runner in motion, trying to break up the infield some.
You can always take the chance, too, of Baez trying to throw him out, throwing it away. There's a lot of different things you can do with that.
Patrick Collins with the signs again. The 1-2 pitch, runner not going. Chop toward the shortstop. Fields will throw to first, and he gets it. So O'Reilly gets into and out of trouble here in the 8th inning. And we go to the 9th at Ragsdale. 4-4 ball game. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. 4-4 ball game, 4 runs, 16 hits, and no errors for the Saints. 4 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Cougars. One of those a costly one. And Todd Giuliano, the third baseman, will lead it off here in the ninth against Caden Ferguson, making his second appearance on the afternoon. The pitch is in there for a strike.
And now for Caden, it's just like a second inning of work for you as a starter. Nothing's different now. You're coming in, the base is clear, and a new count, new inning, and new batter.
0-1, popped him up down the first base side. That wind playing havoc with it, but Chris Daniel in foul territory under it makes the grab. That's a tough play right there.
Yeah, right now, anything that gets up in the air, there's no easy play at the moment, especially when it starts to fall into no man's land.
It's been like Wrigley Field here today. Nick Oberg, the shortstop, it's been as cold as Chicago at Wrigley Field here today. But we do have the one guy wearing shorts out there today. Are his legs supposed to be blue? Just wondering. Pitch misses outside.
I don't think he sat down for about 3 hours, though.
If those bare legs sat on the cold metal bleacher, they would stick. 1-0. Misses, 2-0.
There's the 7 o'clock bells. What happened to the days of the USC Aiken doubleheader last year?
That was an all-timer, wasn't it? The 2-0 misses inside, 3-0. That was a happy, glorious day.
It ruined us forever.
It did, didn't it?
Because we saw it's possible.
We don't keep such records, but that had to be the record for the shortest doubleheader ever. 3-0 is right down the middle, 3-1.
I mean, if you just tallied game time and not the 30 or whatever minute break we took in between, it was sub 3:45.
It was astounding. 3-1 on the way from Caden, fouled it away.
Look out, motorcycle coming down the road where that foul ball's going.
You got to have a heads up if you're driving down this road during the ball game. Or if you're on a riding lawnmower during the ball game.
He doesn't need a heads up. He knows what he's looking at.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Caden battled all the way back.
Just reached back and grabbed a little extra there. That's the beauty of not being a starter and being a reliever, is you don't have to be able to save some of that velocity for later. You can use it all right now.
Sean Hendon, a couple of hits, double and a single, sac fly RBI, but he also hit into a big inning-ending double play in the 7th. Fastball strike. Yeah, I think we have really discovered a big weapon out of the bullpen now. Oh, 1 pitch. Missed high. 1-1. One on the way from Caden. That catches the outside corner. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Fought it off in on his hands. Fouled it over his bullpen. 1-2 still.
I mean, most staffs are looking for one really good left-hander to bring out of the bullpen, and you're talking about your 2 setup guys now. Your setup and your closer finishing off games potentially being nasty left-handers.
The 1-2 on the way. and just missed somewhere, I don't know where, and neither does Dustin Averett as he held it there a long time, hoping to get the call, but he doesn't.
That's been a strike all day.
That missed on the outside corner, didn't it? Right on the outside corner. Or missed right down the middle. The 2-2. Fouled it away. So Hendon stays alive. Ferguson trying to keep it tied heading to the bottom of the ninth. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt. 3-2. Due up in the ninth for the Cougars. Edwards, Massengale, and Collins. 8, 9, and 1.
Right where you want it.
Yep.
All three of those have a hit in the game.
The payoff pitch on the way. Fouled it off at the plate. Lunged at it to fight it off and stay alive. So a good at bat in progress for Hendon.
Ninth pitch coming up.
Caden back up on top. Blowing into his hand on this cold day to try to give it some life. Payoff pitch due again. There's a bouncer into right field for a base hit just under the glove of a diving Carson Bowers, diving back toward the line.
With a runner on first and 2 outs, now batting the first baseman, number 37.
Here's Skylar Fox with a runner at first and 2 down here in a tie game in the ninth inning. He struck out swinging his last 2 times, 0 for 4 in this game. Cade checks the runner. The pitch is driven down the line and left. That's trouble. That's going to get down toward that corner. They're going to wave the runner to third and put the brakes on right there. Second and third and 2 down, and it's a good thing they did not have a fast runner at first, or that would have scored him. The third base coach, boy, he wanted to send him. He was waving, and then he had no choice but to throw up the stop sign.
It's another good effort by Matt Nettles to race to a ball to keep a runner from advancing up. It's the little things sometimes as Greg Appleton is on his way out again.
And he's already made a move to the bullpen, so we'll have a pitching change here. Yeah, had that ball gotten all the way down into the corner, the run would have scored easily to break the tie. All right. Got the closer coming in, and we will take a pitching change break. Flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Four ball game, top of the ninth inning. Saints with runners at second and third with 2 down. So who you gonna call?
It's the senior out of Springfield, Missouri, 6 foot, 200-pound left-hander Trey Watson. The closer from last year and once again this year, getting things done for CSU. The southpaw coming into this one 0-2. He's taken a couple of tough luck losses out of the bullpen. He does have 4 saves already, 12 2/3 innings pitched, 8 earned runs against him, 16 strikeouts though, and he'd love to pick up 1 here.
So the game on the line here in the top of the ninth, 4-4 in the nightcap of the doubleheader. Second and third, 2 down. Trey not sporting the big Duck Commander beard at the moment.
Not sporting any kind of sleeves either.
He's a tough dude, isn't he? The left-hander out of Missouri. The long look in to Dustin Avert. And the pitch. There's a strike fastball right down the middle. Igor Baez, his first at-bat in this game.
Was 1 for 3 in game number 1.
Hitting in the ninth hole. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. He had no chance at that one. 0-2. Way late. So Trey trying to work his magic again here. He's ahead in the count, 0-2.
I don't think you mix it up here. Go right back at him.
The 0-2 pitch. Tried to get him to chase one just a little off the plate. Laid off of it, 1-2. Watson trying to keep the game tied in the top of the ninth. Second and third, 2 down. 1-2 count on Baez. To the belt and to the plate. Fouled it off, back to the screen. A ball and 2 strikes. Watson gets the sign again from Avert. Has one he likes. The big left-hander to the belt. And time is asked for and granted to the batter Baez. You can run, but you cannot hide. Mano a mano right here. Let's see who comes out on top. The 1-2 pitch. Swing, and just got a piece of it to stay alive. Man.
If he didn't get that, though, that was going to be a problem because that was at the backstop. Dustin Avert was going to have to get all the way back there, pick it up, and throw.
Well, perhaps, though, he would have been able to catch it had he'd not gotten a piece of it, and that's what we would have hoped for anyway. But he did, just to stay alive. Pitch was down and in. And the 1-2 pitch, tried to check his swing on a pitch that was a little high and able to do so. Count is even now, 2-2. Just go right after him here. Don't mess around. Watson, the long look in. Has a sign he likes. And again, the batter asks for time, and it's granted. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runners at second and third in a tie game, top of the ninth. And the 2-2 pitch, it's high for ball 3. So Baez steps out, readjusts his batting gloves. He's back in. Three balls, two strikes. Payoff pitch on the way to the plate. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Trey Watson, a big pump of the fist. And his teammates out of the dugout to greet him. Comes in and gets out of the jam, and that will send us to the bottom of the ninth. We got to go get them Cougars. It's a 4-4 ball game, looking for the doubleheader sweep. This is the flagship station of the CSU Sports Network, News Radio 540. Bottom of the ninth, 4-4 ball game. CSU and Flagler, and new pitcher for the Saints.
It'll be Michael Hankey, a 5'11", 185-pound junior right-hander out of Pompano Beach, Florida. It is Flagler's turn to turn to its closer after CSU went to their closer in the top of the ninth. For Hankey on the season, this is his 13th appearance. He has 5 saves on the year to go along with a 2-0 record. A 3.15 ERA, though, so he has given up runs, 7 of them in 20 innings pitched, but he has struck out 19 hitters.
And it's Blake Edwards, Tim Massengale, and Brendan Collins, 8-9-1. Due up against him. All right, boys, let's get a run. No extra innings here today. No free baseball.
Get them on, get them over, get them in.
And go home with a sweep against the 8th-ranked team in the country. First pitch to Blake is in there for a called strike. Well, their bus is just cranked out, as you can hear over to my right. Maybe
He's ready to go.
He's
right?
ready to go. Maybe that's a good sign for us. The 0-1 breaking ball off the outside corner, says the plate umpire, much to the disapproval of Blake. 0-2. Blake had a big 2-out, 2-run single in the second inning of this game. The 0-2 pitch out in front of it, popped him up foul territory toward our bullpen, and is going to drop before anybody can get there. Now stays 0-2. After the long run by the left fielder, shortstop, and third baseman, make it back to their positions. Hankey to the belt, to the plate. That misses. Outside, 1-2. First pitch of this doubleheader was thrown on Friday. Is that correct?
Sounds about right to me.
1-2 is ripped, but out in front, foul. Hit it down on top of the batting cages, down in the left field corner. He was all over that one, but way out in front. The 1-2 pitch. There's a bouncing ball toward the hole and in the left field for a base hit. There's a great start to the inning. Blake Edwards just steered one between the short shortstop and the third baseman.
Now it looks like they're going to pinch hit Joey Lewis.
For Tim Massengale. So Joey Lewis, as Steven's computer has just reset. What is it with computers today? The one in our studio had a stroked out and caused a massive failure, and yours up here is resetting all day.
This is the other one.
Oh, it's the other
This
one
is the
now.
second
Well,
one.
I'm telling you,
This is the one that matters. I need this one.
it's the rise of the computers. All right, here we go. Edwards is at first. Joey Lewis, pinch hitter, shows bunt. It's down in the dirt. Was he able to pull his bat back and not offer at it? He was, I believe. 1-0. So trying to get a potential winning run in scoring position here. Runner leads from first, squaring again, and it's in the dirt all the way back to the screen, and that will get Edwards rounding the bag at second, and he slams on the brakes there. Now the throw down to second. Almost got away, but the shortstop was able to corral it, and the Cougars in business with a runner at second and nobody out now, and a 2-0 count on Lewis.
Cougars have one walk-off win already this season. It was back on March 3rd. West Florida was in town, as it looks like Flagler is going to make a visit to the mound. Jonathan Holt out again to speak with the pitcher. Back on March 3rd, though, they gave up, I believe it was 4 runs in the top of the ninth inning to take a 5-1 game to 5-5 against West Florida. And then the Cougars were able to walk off in the bottom of the ninth inning on a Mike McClellan sacrifice fly.
This is not a potential pitching change visit. This is a defensive strategy visit, and the Cougars take advantage of that and bring Edwards in from second and Lewis from the plate to talk with Patrick Collins. Phillies ahead in the count 2-0, and right now to get that runner to the third, you want to make the third baseman field